Hello guys, welcome to Liverpool FC Journal with me, Owen James. Guys, this is a reaction to obviously Liverpool nil, Leeds nil at Anfield this evening. I don't know, frustrating. I think depressing. Just another slow, boring, awful, just frustrating performance from Liverpool tonight, this evening. I suppose you take the positive, the 8 undefeated. Unbeaten, get a point, but a point at home to Leeds, to newly promoted Leeds. I know Leeds are in a better run of form at this moment in time, but that is it was just diabolical. It was poor from minute 1 to minute 90. We can talk all we want about the penalty that should have been. Ekitike probably should have had a penalty in the first half. How the ref misses that, and then how VAR fails to even properly review it and give it, I don't know. I suppose if Ekitike goes to ground, maybe there's more chance of it being given. But you can see that the defender is all over him. You can see the defender's pulling him and got his arms all over him, stops him from shooting. It's a foul. Anywhere else on the pitch, the ref gives that as a free kick. But because it's in the penalty box, it doesn't get given. And before people come back with the whole, Liverpool FC Journal titles, blah, 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 Liverpool haven't had a single penalty given at Anfield this season. So let's not even go there this season, especially some of the decisions that Arsenal have had in their favour. But overall, it just lacked any sort of aggression, any sort of speed, any sort of quality of play. I mean, one of the biggest things for me today was Hugo Ekitike up top. At moments he showed flashes of brilliance, but it was individual brilliance. He was so unsupported. He had no service. He was very, very isolated up there on his own. Maybe the change of system has sort of damaged that. I suppose we were trying to get into this system of playing with 2 up top with Isak, but now obviously that's not possible with no Isak and no real other striker to play alongside Ekitike, and he just looked so isolated today. The service into him wasn't great either. I thought Frimpong did play well as a right winger. I thought he had the absolute beating of the Leeds left back. Got some great balls into the box. Took on the left back very well. Skinned him a number of times. He also worked back as well to support Conor Bradley. I thought Frimpong, for me, was man of the match today. I thought he was excellent. You look back on that. There was times in the first half where the ball gets whipped into the box and there's just nobody there. There is nobody attacking the ball. None of the midfielders bust a gut to get there. None of the midfielders really try to get there. There was no desire, no aggression to get to the ball and attack the ball. Now, if you go back to Klopp's time, you had players flooding the box. You would have an aggression there, an aggression of attack, and genuinely would have scored. With someone attacking those crosses that span into the box this evening. It just was poor. There was no desire real there to get there. There was no desire to bust a gut to get on the end of one of those balls. I thought Florian Wirtz was very poor tonight as well. Slow on the ball, gave it away a fair number of times. Really did struggle to get into the game tonight, which is a worrying sign against a Leeds team. Yes, look, fair credit to Leeds. They had a game plan. They came with a game plan. I suppose what's discouraging is they changed their team and left people out, like obviously Calvert-Lewin was left on the bench, and he could have won it at the end had his goal not been disallowed. But look, at the end of the day, Leeds deserved a point. They came with a game plan. They played to a game plan. They wasted time. They broke the game up as much as possible. And look, you can criticise that and slag that off and say, oh, low block, boring. But why would you come and go toe-to-toe with Liverpool? If they come out and play us and they go toe-to-toe, then theoretically they're probably going to lose that game because their players aren't on the same level as ours. Yes, our players didn't show that today. Obviously no changes at half-time, and it got worse in the second half rather than better. First changes came around the 60-minute mark, which I think were slow. I think he should have changed it earlier. But realistically, the changes that he made absolutely no difference, made zero difference to the game. The first changes that he made, Gakpo and Kirkez, McAllister on, made absolutely no difference whatsoever to the game. System didn't really change, the way of playing didn't really change when they came on, and it looked like just doing the same thing over and over again and it not really working. And then he throws Chiesa on with 14 minutes to go and Rio on with barely any minutes to go. And to be honest with you, Rio actually looked probably the best of those players that came onto the park, actually injected a bit of liveliness into that. Why is he not brought on after 60, 70 minutes and given a chance to run at people? He's tricky, he's quick, he's dangerous. He's the one that could win you those free kicks around the box, which in these tight games often make the difference. But he's just brought on the end for garbage time minutes. The changes to me, the active game management there was not there. It wasn't proactive. It wasn't wasn't it wasn't there. It was there just as a response. Oh shit, this is not working. Let's just chuck every attacker on the pitch and see what happens. Chuck as much shit at the wall and hope some sticks from Arne Slot. But the football was boring. It was dire. It was poor. And yes, we didn't lose. We get a point, but it's not good enough. It just simply is not good enough. These are games that Liverpool need to be winning. If we're serious about consolidating this top four, look, the title's gone. We're 9 points behind Arsenal. With Arsenal to come, play like that against Arsenal, and they will literally hand our arses to us on a plate. I mean, genuinely, will hand our arses to us if we play like that against Arsenal. You've got to question the tactics. You've got to question the way Slot's playing. He's kind of ripped up what we worked well last season: the aggression, the attacking, the counter-attacking. I watched back. I think it was New Year's Eve. There was the goals from last season were on YouTube. The club put them on there. And there's so many of those games where if you watch those goals we scored, it's fast, quick, aggressive, counter-attacking, counter-pressing. Kind of flashback to Jurgen's time. And that's been ripped up this season. And we seem to have gone for this slow build-up and lethargic build-up and just not playing with any sort of pace whatsoever. And against a low block, if you're going to undo a low block, you need to play quick. You need to play aggressively. You need to press the ball high when you give it away, win it back high, and then attack quickly and aggressively and also use the width. You use the width, and I think we didn't do that effectively today. Frimpong, I think, was the only one who did. You've got to start to ask questions of Arne Slot after this. Like, I'm not saying sack him, but I am saying that he needs to look at this and review this and look at how we are playing, because it ain't good enough. It is not at all good enough. And look, we are still fourth, luckily, but the display today was poor at home on New Year's Day against Leeds, and it has to be better. It has to be better. Guys, I'd love to know your thoughts on the game. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you've enjoyed the content, please obviously like, comment and share. Subscribe and obviously ring the bell. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.